Okay, it's our update time. I just left the doctor and had treatment. I didn't do an update last week. Last week I had the phone call with my doctor last Monday, and then I was going to have the biopsies on Wednesday. And the biopsies were such a bad experience. They were extremely traumatic, and it was so bad and went so wrong that I didn't even want to do an update. There was just nothing good to update at all. So the biopsies overall, the main short story is they couldn't put me to sleep for the biopsies. I was supposed to be put to sleep, and they weren't able to put me to sleep.
Not for a lack of trying.
And I would say an improper try. I mean, it works for other people. It didn't work for me. What they were going to use to put me to sleep was fentanyl mixed with another medication. I'm already on fentanyl, so they could only give me very small amounts of this medication, and it didn't work at all. And in fact, not only did it not work, but it created a pain episode immediately that was unbelievable, like unbelievable. So then I did a little number where I was hurting a lot after the biopsies. It was pretty sore. A couple of days later, I did a little number where Callie takes care of all of doing my pain patches and the scheduling for it. We try to make sure that I don't make mistakes like putting multiple patches on or missing my patches, because in the past I've had where even though he's like reminded me, I've not done it that day. I've gone like 24 hours over and created pain for myself and stuff like that. So I'm especially, like, I'm kind of scatterbrained anyway, but especially since the chemo, I'm absolutely like a goldfish. Like, I like frequently burn food when I cook, like almost every time. I'm pretty sure I burn food. Like, I turn it on, I get distracted, I walk away, or I think I'm just going to like run outside and grab something real quick, and I like just think of something else to do and start doing that. And like, I just do all these things now. So I completely like can't be trusted with things like that. So Callie does my medicine, but he was working outside that day. He was working really hard, and I didn't want to cause him to have to like multiple remind me throughout the day and stuff. He really has to like stay on top of me. Even though he tells me to change it, I still get distracted. It takes hours before I finally do. He's like, it's time to change your patches. It's time. He starts the day before. He's like, you change your patch tomorrow. It's time to change your patches. You need to change your patches. Did you change your patches? Change your patches. Like, so it takes him like all day. And I was like, he's working hard, and I was like feeling bad that he's like gotta always like be worried about me. And I was like, it's okay, I can do it myself. I can do all the things. He writes it on a board, the date we're gonna change it. Like, change the date on the board. There's a medication reminder on my phone. I changed the medication reminder.
Not just changed it, logged it in like you did it.
Yeah, logged it like I did it. I showed it as taken. So everything like Callie's looking at says I did my patches. I took my old patches off. I always have to take my old patches off first, because I have before accidentally left the old ones on and put the new ones on, which I can't do. It doesn't matter, they're not working anyway, but like, it could matter. What if I was doing it a day earlier, making some kind of mistake, whatever. So, and I need to make sure I dispose of the old patches properly, because I don't want to be walking around and one of them's like stuck to me or falls off and one of my grandchildren get it or something like that. So I have to like be really careful, because they're fentanyl patches. So all this stuff, and I didn't do it. I didn't
Did
do it.
everything except for put patches on.
Yeah. I never put the patches on. Somewhere after taking them off, got distracted like a goldfish. Never thought of it again. I thought that I changed them. And because of the pain that had been exacerbated by the biopsies, I really was in some pain. So I thought I was in some pain, but I didn't have patches on. So I had 3 really horrible days. I slept all day. I was in terrible pain. I was taking my breakthrough medicine way more frequently. And then when it rolls around 3 days later and it's patch day again, Callie's like, change your patches. And I was like, oh, I better do that fast. And I got up to do it fast. And I was like, where are my patches? And I was like, hey, can you look? Can you help and see if they're stuck on me somewhere? And he looked and he was like, you don't have any patches on. And I was like, oh no. Instantly I knew what I did. So yeah, so we had that 3 days of good pain and got the patches on. Luckily they work almost instantly and brought the pain down to a tolerable level. So this pain from what I was feeling like was a uterine thing, this pain it's almost constant. It feels like a strong period cramping, and it actually has nothing to do with my reproductive system at all. So but that's just what it feels like. And so anyway, the pain persists. The medication does help control it. Sometimes it flares up and it's worse than just strong cramping, and that's what it is. So the biopsy results came back. Got those today. One of the spots that they biopsied was cancer, or had cancer cells in it. The other spot didn't. The doctor felt like it really might have had the biopsies gone well. The biopsies didn't go well because I could feel everything. So I was not able to hold perfectly still in the manner you would if you were on anesthesia, put to sleep. So, regardless, so what the doctor said is that she feels that this drug increase will suppress it. She described it as this is not it's not like there are new tumors. And it has nothing to do with my reproductive system, but it's in my belly, over that area. And it's a huge blessing that this spread did not go to my liver or brain or lungs or colon or any of my organs. I'm so incredibly thankful. This is loose in my abdomen. So that's something to be greatly thankful for. She said the pancreas sends out scar tissue, and that scar tissue can have cancer cells in it. The way she described that, it made me think of endometriosis, where tissue grows outside of an organ that actually belongs to the organ and attaches to other things. So that was my words, not hers. She felt good that this will suppress it. And I listening to her talk and just trying to understand. You're trying to understand and you're trying to remember. You're hearing information that you've never heard before in your life, and you don't know. You're trying to wrap your head around medical things that you have no familiarity or base of knowledge with, and so you're processing and trying to make sure you don't forget and that you can understand. You're trying to comprehend at the same time. So we're like going through those things and all of that, I didn't even ask her if these things can be removed. I'm assuming that they can't. I'm also assuming, like, she didn't say, like, this is a mass or anything like that. Like, she described this just as cells. Like, so...
nodules.
Yeah, she also said, it, you know, very good. Like, we found it so fast. Very good. And then I had my... Is there anything else she said that you can think of? That... So then... I had my treatment, and she came in before I received my treatment. She came in to talk to me in the treatment room, which if anybody ever has to come and talk to me in the treatment room, it's her direct nurse. So this was very bizarre. But she comes in and she's just like looks so worried. She says that what my last treatment 2 weeks ago, somebody made a mistake, and I did receive an increased dose last treatment, but they put the decimal point in the wrong place, and I received a significantly less dose than I was intended to receive. Last treatment, I did receive
5 times.
5 times the dose, but she said it was supposed to be 400 times the dose. My increase of dose was supposed to be way, way, way bigger. So I did receive increased dose. She was horrified, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, this is a human, business dealing with this cancer, and we make mistakes. And I was like, it's completely okay. Like, I'm thankful I received a dose last time. Thankful it was an increased one. It was increased to what I thought it was going to be increased anyway. And I told her, whatever happened is what was meant to happen. I'm okay. I'm fine. That doesn't upset me, I'm thankful. And so she was really relieved. She hated giving us that news. And she didn't seem like she was handling it that well herself. She seemed very upset. But yeah, so I'm so excited that it's going to be like a way, 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 way bigger dose, like astronomically larger. So that's really exciting.
And you'll have 2 more treatments, and then they'll do scans and genetic
markers.
Tests.
Yeah. So, and that reminds me, she said the genetics on the biopsies haven't come back yet, but the genetic test she's talking about doing in 2 weeks is just in my blood, checking the DNA of the tumor, the original pancreas tumor, to see if that has mutated. But that is different than the DNA or genetics coming back on the biopsies that they took. She said when the DNA comes back on the biopsies, it may be that they find the particular tumor driver, and if they can find the driver, they may be, if one exists, they may be able to assign a specific immunotherapy to that driver that will squash it. So that's also really hopeful good news. I don't know if that means I would be on 2 immunotherapies or not. She said if things progress and this won't get under control, I will go back to my other oncologist, because of the time in between. It takes time to get you into another study, and I have to be free of a study drug for at least a month before I can get into another one.
You have to be free from chemo as well. So
from chemo as well. That's right.
So they would have to do another series of chemo treatments to drastically bring down.
Regardless, what she was saying is I would need to go back to him to do something in the meantime to try to prevent the growth or the spread of the cancer and see if there's anything that my original oncologist could do, which would be doing chemo. I'm sure she doesn't want to put words in his mouth or assign a treatment to me that I may not end up having or whatever, but that's what that means. Is she would send him back to me, or send me back to him for more chemo, to try to halt things until something hopefully can be found that will stop it. But God willing, this increased dose, and perhaps even finding the tumor driver can do something now to stop it, and then it won't come to that. So even though it's bad news of finding the cancer spread, like it didn't change my stage. I'm not stage 4. She didn't say that. So right? I mean, maybe I am, but she didn't say that. But nonetheless, it's still hopeful. It's still very hopeful.
Yeah, and she's like really encouraged by how well it's gone so far. So,
yeah.
And how well it's like held down growth over the past couple of months.
Yeah, she really is. She's very pleased with the progress of how it's gone because of the aggressiveness of this cancer. So, so it's all, like, for us, it's actually pretty good news. And I think we'd wrapped our heads around, like, from the last visit in the last 2 weeks, just seeking the Lord and going to him for the peace that we need to just, like, cope with this and move forward. And it's, like, so important to not get completely without hope. Like, this is really a game of, like, optimism. It's, for one thing, like, life is short. We don't know. It could spread and I could go home in 2 weeks. Sadly, we've seen that happen to friends, like, really recently, and so even if it is terrible news, like, it's important to live today and to enjoy today. And it can be really hard when you get the bad news, but it's really important to just try to stay optimistic and not lose all hope and just enjoy today, because the truth is, like, none of us know, the day that's written for us. We don't know. It could have nothing, for me, it could have nothing to do with cancer. So we don't even know. This is just a journey, and it's just really important to have faith in Christ and to just go to him for the help that we need, because there's not another, I can't imagine going through this without him. Like, there's not another way to, like, cope with the hard things, that the difficulty you're going through, all the being sick, the way your body changes, everything about you. You can outwardly see that you are dying. There's signs of it, like, all over me. Like, but you just have to remember that, like, God's in control, and it's completely okay. It's sad and it's hard, and it's got, like, a bunch of different facets that make it challenging, but it's okay. Like, you can't lose hope. For just, you have today to love your family and your loved ones and to enjoy life, and that's all you're promised. Like, we're not even promised tomorrow, so tomorrow doesn't matter. Like, it's not here yet, and you really can't worry about tomorrow. Like, God says that the following day has evil sufficient for itself. Like, today is really all we can stand. We're only given one at a time. It's, like, the most we can make it through anyway. So, like, it's really important to not try to focus too far ahead on what could happen in the future and how hard or how scary it could be, because every one of us face the same future. Like, we may arrive there in different ways, but we're all going. So it's important, like, what you do in the meantime. So, all right, I left straight from treatment. My parents have gifted us and blessed us with a trip to Hawaii. And we are going straight from here. We're sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, going to Dallas to fly in the morning with my parents to go to the island of Kauai and stay on a resort right on the beach. And I can't wait. And I don't want to think or talk about cancer until after I come back. So, bye.